Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. I often get questions like, okay, I have a new mercenary, what should I focus on? Which abilities, which equipment should I focus on upgrading first? And in this Hearthstone Mercenaries Protectors leveling guide, I'm going to take a look at all of the protectors currently in the game and look at which abilities and which equipment you want to focus on. For Alexstrasza, this question is not a simple one because Alexstrasza doesn't really have a mainstay use at the moment. Alexstrasza can go into dragon comps, it can go into fire comps, but she is not a staple in either build. That said, Dragon Breath is typically still a powerful ability, and Alexstrasza's Brooch is a powerful piece of equipment. Alexstrasza is one of these old school mercenaries, where the first 3 levels are the most important. For Dragon Breath and Flame Buffet, you get most of the ability by level 3, but then for Dragon Queen's Gambit, you actually get it faster and faster with every upgrade all the way to 5. Considering the ways Alexstrasza is used, I would probably start by maxing Dragon's Breath and Alexstrasza's Brooch, get Flame Buffet to 3, then work Dragon Queen's Gambit to full, and then max out Flame Buffet after that. Baine Bloodhoof is one of the newer mercs, and for this batch of mercs, Blizzard actually went the complete opposite of their original plan. In this batch, the level 5 is the most important one, it's the biggest upgrade you can get. So for Baine, I would first max Chain Heal and Earthmother's Fury, you will get enough coins to do both of these from doing Baine tasks. And I would use Totemic Mastery as the equipment, but then I would start upgrading Totemic Mastery and Mulgore after I have level 5 Chain Heal and level 5 Earthmother's Fury, because those are really powerful at level 5. At the time I'm recording this, Brann's second ability Summit Campfire is still broken, and the Explorers are not very strong, so with Brann doesn't just have a lot of uses, that's kind of the problem. Trusty Whip still works, so I would start with Trusty Whip and then see what happens with Brann and whether there will be any uses for it in the future. Cairne Bloodhoof used to be a mainstay in many PvP comps, but right now Cairne doesn't see a whole lot of play. Still, the best abilities and equipment remain the same. Reincarnation still a phenomenal piece of equipment for Cairne, so with the first I would maximize Enura's Aura, Reincarnation, because those are typically the things Cairne is used for, and then I would start maxing Earth Stomp and then move on to the other abilities. Cariel Roame is a starter mercenary and very strong in many budget comps. I mean, Cariel, Samuro, Cyrella, those 3 can just complete almost anything in this game. The best equipment for this purpose for Cariel is Tome of Light. Passive while this merc has Taunt, it has more attack, so I would work on Cariel's Taunt ability and Tome of Light first, and then move on to adding Seal of Light and Crusader's Blow. There are some niche uses where Cariel can use Crusader's Blow with Hammer of Dawn, but those are not very common. Cornelius Roame has a couple of different uses. Cornelius is sometimes used as a tank in like Holy Comp for example, and Cornelius is used in one combo build together with Rokara and Mr. Smite. And for both, you still kind of want the same abilities. You really want the Shield of Dawn, max your Shield of Dawn. And then for the combo you really need Blessing of Sacrifice, level 4 or level 5. And for the Holy Comp to act as a tank, you kind of want Hold at the Front to be as good as possible. So something like Hold at the Front 3, Blessing of Sacrifice 4, together with Shield of Dawn 4 would probably be the opening point, then max these abilities and finally start maxing the Martial Mastery. Currently there are no real uses for Deathwing. The only niche use for Deathwing is sometimes you use Deathwing as a taunt, anti-cleave taunt, because Elementium Armor gain taunt, and after being attacked, summon an Elementium Terror with bleed, so you can sometimes direct the cleave damage into those Elementium Terrors. So for that purpose, Elementium Armor and Resolve of the Undying are the pieces of equipment that you really want for Deathwing, and then you want to work on that Claws of Terror, but Deathwing doesn't really see much play, so it's kind of hard to prioritize. Fathom-Lord Karathress is probably the weakest of the Naga, and because Tidal Strike summons Phantom Guards that don't really do anything, they just sit there, it's not very useful. I would start working on Hullbreaker, Cataclysmic Bolt, and then the other abilities, but Karathress doesn't really have any uses at the moment. Garrosh Hellscream is a wonderful addition to Orc comps, the real main tank of the Orc comps. But Garrosh is actually one of the few mechs that you shouldn't max, because Makkora is better at 4 than it is at 5, because at 4 it synergizes with Thrall, it synergizes with Saurfang, at 5 it becomes too fast and doesn't synergize with anything. So working on Garrosh, I would go for Makkora 4, Horde Strength 3 and Tusks of Mannoroth 4. That would be the first thing. So you can get your taunt ability to as good as it can be almost, and then you can get that Mukla speed down so that you're actually able to start attacking faster, but not too down so that you wouldn't be too fast. And then work all the way up to Horde Strength and work on the Battle Shout after those. Grommash Hellscream typically has one job, and that is to use Staggering Slam to make something slower, and the more damage you can deal while you're doing that, the better. So max your Staggering Slam, max your Halting Sash, then start working on Battle Fury. For the most part, whenever you use Gruul for the fire resistance. So Dragon Skull, max your Dragon Skull, max your Dragon Slayer shot, then start to work on your Dragon Maw Poacher. King Mukla is a really fun merc with a ton of different uses, although King Mukla being one of the original mercs is a little bit down on the power level at the moment, so it doesn't see a ton of play, but there are so many ways that you can make use of King Mukla, because for example all of the equipment is useful. Sometimes you want those refreshing bananas, sometimes you want those radioactive bananas. But the main thing that you do with King Mukla is Mukla's Big Brother. So max your Mukla's Big Brother, then work on your dinner time. Dinner time becomes faster as you upgrade it. So dinner time like 3 would be good start, and then max your Banana Frenzy. And then start working on all of the others, because basically every skill of Mukla has seen play at some point. Kurtrus Ashfallen's abilities are pretty ruthless to upgrade, because both Demon Slayer and Aimless Assault become faster as you upgrade them. So if I was starting to work on a fresh Kurtrus, I would probably just max Demon Slayer and max Aimless Assault, and after those are maxed I would start working on Demon Guard equipment. Lokholar the Ice Lord typically has one job, and that is to make big hailstorms with Frigid Winds. So max your Frigid Winds, max your Hailstorm, those are the first two things, and then start working on your Snowball. Demons are not currently very well supported, so Lord Jaraxxus doesn't really see much play, but start working on your Legion Burst and your Fist of Jaraxxus, and then on your Amulet of Outrage to get the most out of Jaraxxus. Maiev Shadowsong hasn't really found her place in any of the comps yet, so it's really hard to give advice. Imprisonability is sometimes used in PvP, but in PvE I'm mostly using Single-Minded Pursuit and Charged Glaive, just making Maiev a big single target damage dealer. Malfurion Stormrage is the heart of the Nature Comp, and what Malfurion does in Nature Comp almost all the time is make use of Liferoot Staff and make use of Cenarion Surge. So max your Liferoot Staff, max your Cenarion Surge. Then you can start working on Entangling Roots and Archdruid's Calls evenly. The only current uses for Mannoroth are in some healing denial strategies, for which Fell Spikes and Fell Lash are the ideal options. If there were to be more demon comps for Mannoroth, then I could also see like Terror Charge Pitlord Staff becoming useful. Mr. Smite has two uses. Mr. Smite is either used in some pirate comps, or it is used in a combo together with Cornelius and Rokara. For both uses you really want your Overboard, so max your Overboard as soon as possible, and then for the combo comp, equipment really doesn't matter, none of the equipment are useful for that one, but for the pirates, Sharpened Scabbard is the way to go. So max your Overboard, then get to work on your Avasti Maidi and your Sharpened Scabbard, and finally your Smite Slam. Niuzao's abilities and equipment are completely linear upgrades. Every upgrade is as good as the previous one, so Helm of Niuzao is the equipment that you want, and all of the abilities are useful. Because Blessing of the Ox is the only one that really benefits from going to 5, because when it gets to 5 then each time a friendly character is damaged, before that is set number. So I would max Blessing of the Ox first, and then I would work on the other two abilities and Helm of Niuzao pretty equally. Ragnaros the Firelord is the heart of Fire Comp together with Barongeddon, and in that Fire Comp what does Ragnaros do? Ragnaros uses Blazing Rune and Die Insects. So max your Blazing Rune, max your Die Insects, then start working on your Magma Blast until you max that one, and then start working on your Meteor. Sneed is nothing without Extra Blades. Extra Blades is really the thing that makes Sneed thick, so max your Extra Blades, max your Buzz, then start working on your Disarm, and finally on your Activate Saw. Now that Death Coil no longer has a cooldown, the Lich King has some added potential. You'll most likely want to max your Frostbite, max your Death Coil, and start by using Frostmourne, which doesn't need upgrades. And then start to work on Frost Shield, and maybe there is a way to make Void Threads useful at some point. Thrall has two equipment choices. Ring of Strength makes your orcs much more durable, and Doomhammer is a great way to use Thrall as a sniper to quickly kill something. Usually Thrall dies in the process though, so that's not so preferable in PvE. So I would start by maxing the Ring of Strength, maxing for the Horde, and then start to work on that Lightning Storm. Which's command is not very important, that can be left to be the last one. So after I have done with these three abilities, then I would probably start working on Doomhammer just for those niche scenarios where you actually want to wield Doomhammer with Thrall. Tidemistress Athissa is one of the stronger Nagas, and she's mostly strong because of Riptide. Riptide is a great ability. So you want to max your Riptide and you want to max your Warlord Payesh. You really want that taunt minion. And then start to work on Captive Tides and then on Wave Crush. Trigore typically has one job, and that job is to backlash. So max your backlash, max your Razor Claws, and then work on the other abilities. Vanessa VanCleef mostly has some niche uses, but sometimes it's really useful to be able to steal attack from your enemies. So start by maxing your Dreadblades, maxing your Burgle Barrage, and then start to work on your makeshift weaponry. Vanndar Stormpike doesn't have any mainstream uses at the moment, but I suppose Immovable Object and Push Forward would be the way to go with this, because there are some taunt comps where you can kind of try to work with this one, but it could change because there's no real mainstream use at the moment. Varian Wrynn is all about that retaliation. After all the buffs to Varian, Charlemagne is no longer the best equipment. Charlemagne used to be the best equipment for Varian. But nowadays I would just max Warbanner and I would max Retaliation, and then start working on Heroic Leap and Splitting Strike. Yashuras typically has one job, and that job is to steal attack from your other characters and then blast away. So you want to max Defiled Attack and you want to max Mark of Yashuras, because this is what you do. And then start working on Strength of Yashuras after those. Yulon has two very different uses. Yulon is used in the Dragon Comp. In the Dragon Comp, Yulon uses Pearl of Yulon and then Jadecast for the most part, so that you mitigate the damage that your other dragons take and you really blast away at any greens that you meet. Yulon is also used in Dragon Comp, where Yulon uses Jadefire Spear and then just clicks on Jade Flame Buffet in order to just enable really fast farming. I would still upgrade Pearl of Yulon and Jadecast first, so that Yulon is ready to use in Dragon Comp, because when Yulon is used in Fire Comp, the level of Jade Flame Buffet and Jadefire Spear is less important than these are in the Dragon Comp. Those are all the protectors currently in the game, and the best abilities and equipment to level for them. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Twitch channel.